kysyn vielä, onko jotakuta, joka kaipaisi käännöstä suomeksi?
Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 First of all, I offer my great thoughtfulness for kindly come and assembling here in this day and giving me the opportunity to serve like this. Today we'll read the text from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 10. Saha Yagya Raja Shrishva Purovacha Rajapati Anena Prasavishyadhavanam Isha Vo Ashtvishta Karmadruk Sahayagya Praja Shrishva Sahayagya Praja Shrishva Purovacha Prajapati Purovacha Prajapati Anena Prasavishyadhavanam Anena Prasavishyadhanvan Esha Ishtakamagru
Sahayagya Praja Shrishva Purovacha Prajapati Anena Prasavishyadvam Esavo Shrishtakamagru
Sahayagya Praja Sristva Purovacha Prajapati Anena Prasavishyadvam Esavo Stakamadu
Sahayagya Praja Shrishva Purovacha Prajapati Anena Prasavishyadvam Esavostvishtakamadu
Saha along with Yagyana sacrifices Raja generations Shrishva creating Pura anciently Uvacha safe Prajapati the Lord of creatures Anena by this Rasavishyavanam.
Rasavisyanam.
Be more and more propitious. Eshaha,
Eshaha.
this,
This.
Swaha,
Vaha.
your,
Your.
Astu,
Astu.
let it be,
Let it be.
Ishta,
Ishta.
of all desirable things,
All desirable things.
Kamadruk,
Kamadruk.
best over.
Vegetable.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shil Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generation of the man and demigods along with sacrifices for the Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." The material creation by the Lord of creatures Vishnu is the chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entities within the material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic principles are to help us understand this internal relation as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarva eham vidyo. The Lord says that the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Him. In the Vedic hymns, it is said, Patim Vishyavat Menas Varam. Therefore, the Lord of the living entities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, Srila Shukadeva Goswami described the Lord as Pati in so many ways. Shriyapati, Yagyapati, Prajapati, Dhyanapati, Lokapati, Dharapati, Patir Gati, Chandraka Vishni, Vrishni, Sattvatam, Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satampati. The Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of the all living creatures, all worlds, and all beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajnas, sacrifices, for the satisfaction of the Vishnu, so that while in the material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety, and after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is whole program for the conditioned souls. By performance of the yajna, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, who heard about age of Kali? Nobody heard? We're living right now in age of Kali. The Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of the holy names of the God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of the man in this age. Sankirtana Yajna and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 as follows, with special reference to the Sankirtana Yajna. Krishna Varnam Tvasha Krishnam, Visha Krishnam, Sangopangastra Pashadam Yagyak Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Hi Sumedasam. In this age of Kali we're living, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtana Yagya. Other yagyas prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtana Yagya is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita also, 9:14. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Syaginanjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Swapanantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Savitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakana Lalita Vishnu Shakamitamscha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time, thank you. Who heard about yoga? Oh, a lot. It's nice. Who knows what it means?
To unite with the Lord.
Okay. Thank you so much. You're very intelligent. Yeah, the root yuj from the Sanskrit means to unite, or it means plus. That we, like a spiritual souls, we are part and parcels of the Lord. By the process of yoga, and there is different types of yoga, we can unite to the Lord. And what is perfection of the yoga? Manmana bhavamad bhakto mam yaji mam namaskuru mama vaishasi yuktaivam atmavam mat parayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. It's not my words, it's Lord Krishna's words. So the perfection is thinking of Krishna. All the scriptures, books, various teachings, Vedic rules, regulations, it means to serve the primary essence of thinking and never forget Krishna. Just remembering of this function, it will help us to read all these scriptures if we read. Because in 8th chapter, text 5 in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Anta kale chamam eva smaran mukta kalevaram ya prayati samad bhavam yati nastya atra samshaya. And whoever at the end of life creates his body remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. You heard about this before? Thank you. So the whole our life, it's like a school to pass the final exam. thinking of Krishna in the end of our lives. We have a lot of opportunities to think other things during our lives, but thinking of Krishna, it's meant for the human being. Yam yamapi smaram bhavam, tajantyante kalavaram, tantamavanti kaunteya sadatat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, Arjuna, that state he will attain without fail. So if we remember Krishna, we will attain him without fail. Therefore, the Vedic civilization, from the very beginning of our life, it is taught how to train our mind. How to train our mind, because our mind is, the nature of the mind is very flickering. Who knows what is flickering? It's okay. Very easily disturbed. We're going somewhere to take something from the kitchen, then we take another thing, then we go to another room, then we will forget what it was there, why are we in there? It's the nature of the mind. It's very easily disturbed by so many things. And now in this age of Kali, oh my God, how many things we have? Just because of that thing. So many disturbances. You cannot talk to the person if between you and him or she, you have this thing, even nearby. You cannot hear properly. You cannot spend time properly. So much things to disturb our mind. The mind wants to wander into the realm of dictation of the senses. There is conditioned nature, conditions. It's a conditioned soul. We're conditioned souls, and we have this nature. We have our senses. In Bhagavad Gita, where it is. It's not that one. Sorry. How many pictures do we have?
60.
No, there is no here. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a picture of the 5 horses and the soul in the chariot. Who saw that picture? Yeah? In Finnish verse. Okay. Because here it's only Arjuna with the horses. Yeah, we can show it. And it's very hard to take these horses. They are very strong and very, really small. You can buy the Bhagavad Gita, or if you have it at home, you can take a look. You can show there also. So how to curb this propensity and direct the mind in such a way that will elevate us rather than degrade us? Because in which direction we will go, our mind will, because of our association, it will degrade or elevate us. To drag our thinking process towards the egoistic, selfish sense gratification. That's why the mind should be trained to say no to these dictations. There is an example that people who are smoking all their lives, and they can say, "Oh, you people in Krishna consciousness, you don't have the opportunity, like to smoke because you have strict restrictions about that." But actually, we have the opportunity because we can train our mind to keep the mind of this sense gratification. But the people in general, they don't have the opportunity of that because, like a Prabhupada, for example, he went to the West, and the people he was teaching, he was taught, they're thinking about keeping the mind, the controlling the mind from the sense gratification. It wasn't even a thought about that. So the positive alternative to fix itself on those thoughts, negative thoughts, those words, activities which will bring about purification, the mind should be controlled by intelligence. Who knows what the difference between mind and intelligence? Yeah.
Mind.
Yeah, sure. We are learning something. We're not at school. I have to put the marks. You just try.
Mind is something which we can at least control. Intelligence is something we make a decision on. Slight difference.
So the mind is we make a decision.
No, intelligence is we can make decisions on. And
But the mind, what the function of the mind?
We can try to teach it, but yeah, I can't.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Yes, so intelligence is controlling the mind, and the mind is controlling the senses.
Mm-hmm. But what the function of the mind?
To control the senses.
To control or not control?
Or not control. Or to surrender to the senses. To control, rather.
Okay.
The intelligence can control the mind.
Somebody have? You can come, please. There is a lot of space here. So, the mind, the only function of the mind is like or dislike. I'm going to the kitchen, to the fridge. I open. I just want to. I like this or not. I'm going there. I like or not like. By the intelligence, I can recognize this like or dislike will help me, or I will degrade, or it will elevate me or degrade me. So by the intelligence, I can surely know that smoking, for example, it will be really bad for me. And even on there is a big picture on the box or alcohol or whatever things, or some fast food. Then by the strong intelligence, we can understand that it will hurt my body really in 1 year or 2 years or several months. So if we not train our intelligence by reading, the only thing what we can change or train our intelligence is we can guess. Sound. The only thing how we can change our intelligence is by the sound. We can hear someone who is very intelligent person, for example, and he's saying, this is very good and this is bad. And if you trust him, you understand. And you can take his aim of life, his understanding in your intelligence also. there is a lot of circumstances how it's the process, but in simple words, it's like that. So we have a guru from whom we are listening to transcendental knowledge about the Lord, and we can change our lives. Everything what we are doing in our lives, we need a teacher. Even eating, proper eating. Yeah. Okay, because what life really is, from the time of birth to the time of death, is a series of momentary choices. That according to the choices we'll make, will elevate or degrade us. So every time you had a choice today to come here or not, or to sit in front of TV or computer or the phone, browsing the internet, and you made the right choice, not hearing me, but you could come to the temple to have a darshan of the deities, to sing the holy names. So that's why the training of the mind is all about the moment after moment after moment, the intelligence guiding us to make the right choice. The mind that contemplates the object of the senses, that Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, by contemplating, by the seeing some object of the senses, to understand what its objects. Yeah? We for example, some tasty cake. Yeah? Who likes the cakes? Sweet cakes. Nice. Okay. Or halwa. Whatever. If we like it, we took a look about on this cake, and the lust develops. We want this, even if it belongs to the other people who want to buy the same, or to if we have bad qualities, we can rob him. But if we take a look and the lust develops, and this is system how the material nature works in human nature. This is infallible. There is no exception how it works. So, if somebody contemplates the object on the senses, like meditates or look, the contemplation is the same, the synonym, is the function of the mind. It is not. It's not something what you can see actually. This lust or anger or greed. This quality is what it's inside of our mind. For example, you can worship on the altar. You can see he's worshiping with a chamara, and you can see how he's a great person. He's a pujari. It's just abstraction. I'm not saying about our pujaris, but as an example, from the outside you can see how elevated this person is. But in the same moment, that person, he can thinking about examples. Yeah, cakes, for example. And laying down on the couch or sleeping or whatever. Because in the thinking process, it's you can think a lot of things during the even puja. Who has some experience of that? Or even talking with some person, you start to think about going to the shop or planning the whole your day, for example. We are not in this moment right now. So this is the process of the mind. So the contemplation. It's you are where your consciousness is. Sorry. So the contemplation is very subtle thing that you cannot see from above. Nobody knows what you contemplate. Krishna says that we are contemplating the object of the senses, lust development, as I already said. Really, what is lust? Like I said, it's very subtle energy. It's not the object of the senses. It's not the act. It's a disposition of the mind. What the mind is thinking. When the lust enters and it controls the mind, and when we act accordingly, and if we are not trained to control our mind, what we will do? We'll do accordingly. Our lust will have anger, for example, or greed, or our bad nature. But this nature, this degraded nature can arise. And Arjuna asked Krishna, why the good person practically forced to act immorally? How is this possible? The person who wants to make good, he's practically dragged into engaging in the sinful activities. How is this possible? Arjuna asked. And what Krishna replies? Kama esha krodha esha raja guna samudbhava mahasano mahapapa vidyanam iha vairanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, anger, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Krishna explains it's not in a very flowery way, it's very bold, preaching to Arjuna. Not Arjuna will feel very nice. No, he's saying with the bold words that it's lust. It's a deadly sinful enemy of all the words. And later, if this lust it's not fulfilled, if we don't take this cake, we don't have enough money or whatever, anger appears. We become angered. So there is a three gates leads to the hell. Krishna says it's lust, anger, and greed. And these gates leads us in one direction, to hell. If we're going through these gates, if we cannot control our mind, it's surely, no doubt, Krishna says, no doubt we will go to hell. So when we're contemplating the object of the senses, the lust rise. And when we strive to fulfill our lust, or on the gross platform, or on the kind of when you can see this manifestation of the person. It's very invisible thing, and the person who if you can control, and nobody even can think that you are in anger, But even if this anger is like a blazing fire inside of you, and you're just smiling to the person, and the person think, oh, such a good person, such a nice. So by the intelligence, if our intelligence is very weak, we cannot control our mind, and this anger goes to the out. And other persons, our people around us, they can see this anger like an act. And even in the justice, when the people they sued the persons, how many minutes have we had? Yeah, okay. We just started actually. To make it short. Okay, how to by fixing our mind in Krishna consciousness, it's the only remedy for us, for the conditioned souls, because the Vedic knowledge gives us the opportunity to control. It's like really when you're buying something in the shop, for example, a washing machine or something, you have a guide how to use it. Usually we don't really read it. When it's something broken, you just it was like this. That's the same story with Bhagavad Gita and Vedic knowledge. When our life is ruined, we start to read. When our relationship is ruined, we start to read. When we have a depression, when we don't have the aim of life, we start to read. But the Vedic civilization was different from the very childhood, from Gurukula, from the 5, 4, 6 age, kids. They could learn how to control their mind, how to worship Lord, how to take this knowledge into their life. So the Krishna in second chapter, verse 59, he's saying, Vishaya vinivatante nirahasya devina rasa varyam rasopyasya varam vrishtvani vartate. From the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment. The taste for the sense object remains. But pleasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So very, very difficult to restrain our senses and in the mind and to fix from the object unless we experience the higher taste. And that is what it's Bhakti Yoga is all about, is the higher taste. How to control our mind by the higher taste. Yeah, in the beginning it is actually very hard because you don't really taste this higher things because you cannot go deep into the process. But sometimes even some glimpses of the Krishna consciousness can elevate us and take the whole our life, our spiritual life, to the end by these small glimpses of the spiritual life. So in 5th canto, there is a very popular text about the human life. It's Tapodhigam Putrakaina Sattvam. So the human life is meant especially for tapasya, austerities. So austerities means that even is cause our great troubles
Että vaikka joku vähän näyttäisikin tuommoinen hankaluuksia, vaikka
or great pain,
paljon tuskaa,
even there is no high taste,
vaikka ei ole
it's really hard
palvelua,
on the spiritual life. We still gradually we do that
niin luottavaisena silloin
because
teemme.
that's why the human being is all about, for the austerities and to elevate our mind to the Krishna consciousness.
Läpikäydä koettelemuksia ja kohottaa meidän tietoisuutta.
Krishna says that what tastes like a poison in the beginning is a nectar in the end. Who heard about this? One more time. What tastes like a poison in the beginning is the nectar in the end. But what tastes like a nectar in the beginning is poison in the end. We can enjoy our life, or in the beginning we can, whatever. Everyone knows about easily happy life in Kali Yuga. But after some years, everyone can experience that it's really not the nectar. The whole of our body is sick, the mind is sick, we don't have any relationship. But if we, in the beginning, we restrain our mind, and it's very hard in the beginning, for example, in relationship or in the spiritual life, for example. But in the end of the life, or in some years, it will be the nectar. And this is the function of intelligence. If we have enough of intelligence, we can keep our mind and to focus on the right things. And we have a lot of opportunities. We have 3 minutes. I will finish. We have a lot of opportunities of higher taste in Krishna consciousness. Everyone from Bharatvarsha especially knows about that. We have, by the mercy of Radha Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, Sitaram, Lord Nrsimhadev, we have the opportunity to take a darshan of the deities every day, to take a look how they worshiping, how deity is dressed, how the altar is decorated. Or by the preaching of Krishna consciousness, you don't really think about some sense gratification, because you always strict focused on the Krishna consciousness or reading. If you're living to share this Vedic knowledge, all your life is changing automatically. I'm trying to make it as fast as possible, sorry. But make a yeah. So to make it short in the end, the main opportunity in Kali Yuga is sincerely chanting of Lord's holy names. This is the religion or the way of elevating our body, like soul, in this Kali Yuga. It's Krishna's names. By chanting of the holy names, we can elevate and control our mind. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Sorry for. Hare Krishna.